Daily Devotion with Pastor Balla for June 25th, 2021, Special Vacation Bible School Edition, Day 5 from Acts chapter 9. Here at Peace Lutheran Church in Plainfield, Illinois, we are doing Vacation Bible School this week. So we are going to pick up the daily themes for Vacation Bible School as part of our daily devotions. Today is the last day. From Acts chapter 9, verse 1. But Saul, still breathing threats and murder against the disciples of the Lord, went to the high priest and asked him for letters to the synagogues at Damascus, so if he found any belonging to the way, men or women, he might bring them bound to Jerusalem. Saul was arresting Christians to bring them back to Jerusalem for trial. Christians were first called people belonging to the way. Remember what Jesus said of himself in John chapter 14, verse 6. Jesus said to him, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me." Belonging to the way? Yes, that means belonging to Jesus. But let's continue on with Saul in Acts chapter 9, verse 3. Now as Saul went on his way, he approached Damascus, and suddenly a light from heaven shone around him. And falling to the ground, he heard a voice saying to him, "Saul, Saul, why are you persecuting me?" And he said, "Who are you, Lord?" And he said, "I am Jesus, whom you are persecuting. But rise and enter the city, and you will be told what you are to do." At this point, Paul was blinded by God's light. It definitely got Saul's attention. Saul would have no other choice but to be led by others into Damascus. While in Damascus, God called Ananias to go to Saul. Ananias wasn't too sure about this. He had heard what Saul had done and what Saul was planning to do. So let's pick up that discussion in Acts chapter 9, verse 13. But Ananias answered, "Lord, I have heard from many about this man, how much evil he has done to your saints at Jerusalem. And here he has authority from the chief priests to bind all who call on your name." But the Lord said to him, "Go. For he is a chosen instrument of mine to carry my name before the Gentiles and kings and the children of Israel. For I will show him how much he must suffer for the sake of my name." God says that God is going to show Saul how much he must suffer. That may sound an awful lot like the idea of karma. The idea that, what goes around comes around, how Saul was bad to the Christians, and now that God is going to bring that badness back to him. But the Bible never teaches about karma. Actually, the Bible teaches about God's grace being freely given, even to people like Saul who were persecuting Christians. And you would think that Saul wouldn't deserve God's grace. But then again, that's karma thinking again. You see, none of us deserve God's grace. God's grace and forgiveness is given freely, all because of Jesus. So when Jesus dies on the cross for the forgiveness of the sins of the whole entire world, that includes even people who attack Christians, God's people. The atonement of Jesus, besides including Saul, also includes people like you and me. During Vacation Bible School this week, we are teaching the children about Jesus so that they will learn more about God's grace, how God takes on flesh and blood as Jesus in order to die on the cross for the forgiveness of the sins of the whole world, so that all who believe in him will have the gift of eternal life. God's peace and many blessings be with you, and thank you for listening. And please take an opportunity to share this message with others. If you have enjoyed these daily devotions, please consider making a donation to Peace Lutheran Church, 24024 West Main Street, Plainfield, Illinois, 60544. Thank you again for listening.